Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome to us reacting to Dave Meltzer's star ratings. As always, the way we react to Dave Meltzer's incredibly late star ratings. I see you're looking at your excellent watch there, Larson.
Oh, the finest timepiece available. Really.
Yeah, and what does it tell you?
We get our star ratings up way before Dave Meltzer.
Way before. And you know, in this day and age, in the digital age, Larson, timeliness is godliness. And Dave Meltzer, far from godliness. But in any event, his still is the gold standard. Those other guys are still more discussed than we are.
For now. But here's the thing, Steve. There's something you got to keep in mind. Something Dave said recently, that after watching LP versus Takeshita in the G1, it made him realize that he had to reconsider how he rated matches. Seemingly when it comes to WWE matches specifically.
I did a whole Wrestle Juice video, and it's just titled Dave Meltzer based off that quote. I don't know which way is up and which way is down now, because did he watch this after doing his actual star ratings and they just haven't been published yet? Did he retroactively go back after this match, look at his newsletter typewriter file, which is just a piece of paper,
seemingly,
and go in with the little whiteout and change them? I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I do know because I wrote them all down here, but I don't know. I don't know in terms of the thought process. Hey, let's just jump into it. This is going to be exercise in figuring out Dave's philosophy now for both of us as we go. I think this is a whole new era of us reacting to Dave's star ratings as it relates to WWE. I'm guessing AEW matches aren't going to be affected by this new way. Probably just WWE. Anyways, let's jump into it. Liv Morgan defeated Rhea Ripley to retain the Women's World title in about a little under 16 minutes. That's what Dave had to say about it. Some of these, to preface first, Steve, some of these matches completely bereft of editorializing, but there's a couple that I just took out. I just included here all the editorializing. We know how the match went. So there's a few that have a good amount of editorializing, some that have basically none. Anyways, Morgan worked on the shoulder. Morgan did a tope, but Dominic saved Rhea by shoving her out of the way. In the 70s, you would never see turns like this because the public would say it made no sense, but today it's done all the time with the idea it's not about making sense. It's part of the expected drama. Ripley started running her shoulder into the announce table with the idea she was knocking it back into its socket. Then she was fine. He talks about the finish. When Dominic slid the chair into the ring, you could still have made it ambiguous on who he was trying to help, but then Dominic helped Morgan up. Dominic kissed her, and they left arm in arm. Good match with a very well-executed turn.
Oh, okay. He seems to be bundling the turn with the match.
Yeah, because the turn led to the finish of the match, I suppose.
I will suggest this first match will be an interesting litmus to see if our Katras are aligned still, given that last time I think I did the AEW review, because now we're pulling the switcheroo here.
Yeah.
Last time I did the AEW review, me and Dave, except with like one match,
I think it was like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 that you both were aligned.
Yeah, we had the exact same star ratings. I think this is the break, at least with WWE is concerned. I gave this match 4 stars. I think Dave Meltzer gave it, he said very good match with a great turn. Screw it. Katras aligned, 4 stars. Okay.
3.5 stars, Steve.
I was going to go 3 3/4 because I was like, there's no way he only gave this 3.5.
Yeah, you did.
All right, there you go. I'm not feeling good about my chances today, buddy.
You never know, man. You never know. Let's move on to Braun Breaker winning the Intercontinental title from Sami Zayn in 5 minutes and 42 seconds. That's what Dave has here. This is the entire write-up for this match.
Oh, man.
Breaker missed a spear and ran his shoulder into the post. The shoulder injury from a charge into the corner took place in just about every match on the show. I'm happy he noticed that, too.
Yeah, shoulder slam.
Yeah. Zayn did a flip dive and missed the haluva kick. Breaker went for the overhead press, but his arm went out. Then he clotheslined with the bad shoulder and hit a Frankensteiner off the top for a near fall. Breaker went for a sky-high bulldog, but Zayn turned it into a blue thunder bomb. Breaker then hit 2 spears and got the pin. Not a lot of editorializing here. Just
There's
description.
not a lot to work with,
No.
honestly, with this match. I mean, standard stuff. He gives standard matches 2 stars. I'm going to say he gave this 3.
Yeah, split the difference.
2.5, huh?
2.5 stars.
Damn, I should have thought that one out a bit more. Boy, I'm really screwing myself today.
You got to take your time, man. Take your time.
Yeah. I don't know why I would have thought he gave that 3 stars. It's too early in the morning for this.
Next.
That was a bad one. All
right. Take your time. Got plenty of time. No rush.
All right.
You got somewhere you got to be?
Yeah. We're going to play basketball here.
We are, but hey, come on. You could take 30 extra seconds here just to...
All right. Stop talking now. Please just give me the Dave.
Well, I got to talk to read what Dave had to say about Logan Paul losing. Oh, sorry. Former U.S. champ losing to L.A. Knight. I have to say his name. Otherwise, I have to say former U.S. champ a bunch. So
it's okay. We're grown-ups. We can do that.
Paul hit
Knight. We made our point.
Paul hit Knight with knockout punch, but Knight kicked out. Knight gave Paul a top rope brainbuster for a near fall. Knight attacked 2 of the guys at ringside who were part of Paul's entourage. Paul threw Knight's shoulder into the post. Machine Gun Kelly then took off his chain, which had brass knuckles, and gave the chain to Paul. Knight went for a back suplex, and Paul hit Knight with the knuckles. The idea is that somehow it was only a glancing blow. Paul went for a buckshot lariat, but Knight caught him with the BFT for the pin. This was really good. You have 4 words of editorializing here, Steve.
All right. So, he also called Liv versus Rhea really good with a really good executed turn.
Very well executed turn, yes.
And he gave that 3.5 stars.
Correct.
The extra amount of, very good. I'm going to say he gave this 3.5 stars.
What'd you give this one?
Oh, I gave it 4.
So did Dave. 4 stars.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I am surprised. I'm actually, I don't feel bad about that. I probably could have got that last one. It still bothers me. This one, I don't think, I wouldn't think he'd give this 4 stars.
No, I wouldn't.
Evidently, he did not go back and review this stuff.
No, he didn't.
That's funny.
Seemingly he did not. Anyway, so maybe going forward, Dave will be more harshly critical of WWE's product when it comes to his star ratings. Move on to...
Bash of Berlin's going to be 1 stars across the board.
I know. It's going to be like ratings from the late 80s and early 90s.
Right,
2 stars, 1.5. Let's move on to Nia Jax defeating Bayley for the WWE Women's title in about 12.5 minutes. Dave said this: the crowd was quiet most of the way.
Oh, he doesn't like that.
No. Tiffany Stratton came with the briefcase, which in theory made no sense since Bayley was on top at the time and not hurt. But it was clear it wasn't a cash-in, but a distraction to help Jax tease as a cash-in. Bayley was distracted, and Jax powerbombed her twice and gave her 2 annihilators for the pin. Jax and Stratton celebrated the win together.
Well, I really like this match. I think this is where me and Dave are probably going to differ because he did not say anything good about that match. And as we know, like a standard regular, just a match happened and it was good. It was fine. It's 2. Like that's average, I think, or whatever it is. It's like, boy. All right, I'm gonna say he gave this a little bit more. I'm gonna say he gave it 2.5.
You're on the board, Steve.
Oh my God, thanks.
2.5 stars.
Good.
2.5 stars. He gave this one. All right, this one's gonna be interesting. This match. Drew McIntyre defeated CM Punk. Of course, Seth Rollins, guest ref. 17 minutes, 14 seconds.
His descriptions are going to be all over the map on this. I think even he had a hard time coming up with a number for this one.
So this is what he had to say. This was one of the 2 really polarizing matches on the show. All 3 guys played their roles great, but after 6 months of build, this was hardly the grudge match you'd expect after the early part. And then when it was over, they seemed to focus the real heat on Punk versus Rollins rather than McIntyre, and then did an injury angle to Rollins. I guess it was a way for McIntyre to win the first one to build for another match, except the way they worked the story made the rematch feel like a lower card feud rather than a main event feud, let alone something that legit was feud of the year contender. Now he goes to the finish. Punk gave Rollins the GTS. Punk took the bracelet from Rollins. McIntyre gave Punk a low blow and Claymore kick. Rollins was still recovering from the GTS and got there slow and counted slow, but Punk didn't kick out. McIntyre then took the bracelet and left. I think in any other promotion, this style of match after this long and heated grudge would be lambasted.
Wow, he used the old L word, lambasted. All right. Polarizing match. Seemed kind of down on it. Any other promotion? All right. When the first thing you said, I won't feel bad if I get this one wrong. The first thing he says there, I immediately sprung to a score.
All right.
And nothing that was said along the way makes me think, although I was thinking maybe it could be one of those situations where expectations were like in the, 4.25 range. And so it brought back down to earth at like the 3.5 range. Yeah, this is a difficult one to assess. Man. All right. So I'm kind of stuck between two scores right now.
Unfortunately, I can't take two answers. I need one.
That's a good point. I'm going to say he gave this 3.25.
Oh, so close.
Was it 3.5?
It was 3 stars.
Okay, all right. I don't feel too bad then.
3 stars. He said before the newsletter came out that he thought like Seth Rollins was too much the focus of this match. I'm like, Dave, they're telling a story there. This is the story they're telling.
It is funny, and I wonder if this was on the other side of that Takeshita LP thought process of his, where you've got this match where the bracelet is a big thing, and people, they wrap in all the story around it, and the match itself is, by itself is not going to be anywhere close to a Takeshita versus LP. And maybe that's where Dave is like, I think it might have been this might be the match where he was like, yeah, I'm overrating these things. Next morning he starts rating these ones. So yeah, all right. I don't feel too bad. I was gonna go 3.5. So I was at 3.25. Okay.
Yeah.
3 stars.
So far you're 1 of 5.
That's fine.
You got two chances left to improve your score here. Let's talk about Gunther winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Damian Priest.
Gunther. Oh, this had G1 written all over it. He's gonna like this one.
Did so in about 16.5 minutes. This is what Dave had to say. They both chopped hard. Gunther's chest was bleeding by this point. Gunther did a drop kick and powerbomb for a near fall. There was more hard hitting. The heat at this point wasn't as good as you'd expect early.
Wow, okay.
Priest showed great fire on his comeback and hit the Razor's Edge, another South of Heaven chokeslam. This is the spot where it looked so silly as Priest had to roll Gunther from the middle of the ring to the ropes, which made no sense.
I'll be honest, I didn't like that either.
Balor then put Gunther's leg on the ropes to save him. Balor made a great face when he turned, looking almost demonic as he smiled. He was great. Priest and the ref didn't know it at first, but then the replay was shown on the big screen, and Priest was furious. The only problem is the ref would have seen it as well, and thus outside interference saving Gunther should have been a DQ. Of course, this logic in this situation is pretty much absent in AEW, New Japan as well. Gunther seized on this and choked Priest. Priest looked like he was going out and made a comeback. Priest then went after Balor, and Gunther powerbombed him and choked him out again, and this time Priest went out.
I'm going to say this is one of those where it was such a good match, but like he dogs it kind of in the actual review, but then he ends up giving it a surprisingly high rating. I'm going to say he went 4 stars with this.
Oh, you're so close, Steve. 4.25.
Okay. Wow. I'm surprised because he dogged the match.
Yeah.
There was a couple of good bits in there, but yeah. Okay. I'm actually surprised. I thought 4 would be like the absolute ceiling for that match. Okay. All right. He gave that a bit. Wait, what? Oh, I gave it 4.5. Okay.
Yeah, I gave it 4.25. You gave it 4.5. Yeah.
Crotchers all over the place.
So to our main event we go. Cody Rhodes defeating Solo Sikoa for the WWE title in the Bloodline Rules match. Dave said the following: this was another polarizing match. Here's the reason I wasn't as down on this like McIntyre versus Punk. McIntyre versus Punk was a well-promoted grudge match that was worked like an undercard TV feud. This was said to be Bloodline rules. Bloodline rules inherently means tons of interference. It's inherent with the rules. So you have to do it, and it's all about the last person interfering, which was Reigns. By those rules, it was not going to be a classic title match. The issue is that once you say these rules, the fans were waiting for the run-ins. I think they expected Reigns, but didn't know for sure. But he was going to get, by far, the pop of the show either way.
I'm lost.
They worked a good match early, certainly not great, but the crowd was quiet for a lot of it because essentially everyone knew nothing mattered and there would be no finish until the run-ins. So the first half didn't have much in the way of crowd reactions. The announcer said how Sikoa was taking fans out of the match to explain the lack of heat. Go to the finish. Reigns came out, and the reaction was exactly what you'd expect and more. He walked very slowly to the ring. The idea was that you don't know if he'd go after Rhodes or Sikoa, but with the TV storyline, everyone figured Sikoa. He hit a Superman punch on Sikoa, and the place went unglued. He then speared him and walked away. Rhodes hit another crossroads and got the pin. What did Dave give this one?
Boy, dude, I would be so surprised. I would be really, really surprised. So he first said he's given this better than Punk Drew. What did he give Punk Drew again? 3 stars? He gave it 3 stars, right? So he gave it that. Dude, I'd be fucking floored if he went as high as 4 here. I'm going to say he went 3 3/4.
After what he wrote here, your logic is sound. There's no way he'd go 4 stars, and yet he did.
He went 4 with it.
He was like, no heat, lack of drama, nothing in the first half mattered. Yeah. The first half was good, but not great. And then gives it 4 stars.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. Yeah, he likes, dude, and maybe, man, maybe he looked back on this after watching LP Takeshita and was like, I gave that 4 stars. Maybe that's what he's talking about.
He had a chance. Once he types his star ratings, you wouldn't think they're not set in stone until they're published.
Well, that's a great question. Maybe not. Maybe it's referee's decisions final, and he gives it what he gives it. Look, these newsletters are massive. So, for him to go back.
Yes. But I don't know, there's very few things on a weekly basis that are in his newsletters that are studied and talked about and criticized more than his star ratings.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, once you get to a certain age, as we know, you get set in your ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gave that 4. I mean, it's also, he does tend to, I'll say this, he does tend to uprate the, big matches.
Cody matches, you're saying, yes.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Do you remember what he gave Tribal Warfare with Jey Uso?
Not a good score.
Really? He didn't give that a good score?
I think it was 2.5 or 3. I could check real quick. I don't believe it was terribly scored terribly high.
Yeah, can you check that really quick? Because I do think that he usually, with big matches, even if they're kind of underwhelming, he gave that 4 stars basically based off of the reaction that Roman Reigns got.
He gave it 2 3/4 stars.
Really? Okay. Well, maybe he was in a bad mood. Because that was also just not a very good but big match feel. I thought that he maybe gave that more, but okay, I'm wrong about that. Yeah, that's interesting because that was not a 4-star match. No. What did I give it? I gave it 3, and I gave it 3 1/4. I'm a Cody guy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I gave it 2.5. I think I thought it was kind of horseshit, but that's just me.
Yeah. And the interference was just so run of the mill.
It really was. It really was.
Arn Anderson promised some real surprises. And,
There was none. He was like, some people you don't even know, Cody. I'm like, Cody knows all these people.
I thought the whole point of Bloodline getting rid of Orton and Owens is that they wouldn't be showing up and we'd have to get something else, just
I know. I know. It was to stack the deck against Cody. His most trusted allies taken out.
Yeah.
I know.
That's a better booking of that, by the way. You have the entire Bloodline beating up Cody, and then right when Solo's about to give the spike, Roman Reigns comes down and gets rid of everybody, and then spears Solo. Cody wins. Look at that. We should be bookers.
I know.
Done. Easy. I'm barely awake, and I came up with that.
There you go.
Anyways, that's going to do it for our reactions to Dave Meltzer's, those other guys' star ratings Our star ratings, which went up like within moments of the show
The
ending,
day after.
are up right now. You can check them out at this channel. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Till next time. We'll see you around.
Goodbye.